All right, progress has been made this morning. After sleeping on it and then looking at the comments that I got, and I do appreciate all you guys' comments on this. Helped me out decide how to do this. So I really appreciate that. I ended up going with a 3-inch spacing on these, which puts the screw in line with every other rivet. So it won't bother my OCD. And that looks like plenty of screws holding that down. The place that said 1.5 inch spacing on these screws was the quick build instruction manual. Well, I went to Hummel's YouTube page and I was looking at several of his videos where he was had the Claris V twin engine on there, and none of those. And I even looked at his, it was his year-end video, I believe it was. He had some pictures of the Ultracruiser that they had completely built. None of those were spaced 1.5 inches. They were all wider. And when I look at the plans, they're obviously wider than 1.5 inches. And this spacing here matches about the number of parts, number of nut plates and stuff that I had bought, because I just bought hardware according to what the kit or what the plan said I was going to need. So I have enough hardware now to put nut plates and screws and all the little rivets to hold it in this pattern. If I'd went 1.5 inches, I wouldn't have had near enough stuff. So I like this, should work good. The only issue I had with this, and it was very minor, as you remember from the last video, I had went ahead and drilled the holes here because I had, and I traced them, I copied them off of the poster board. The reason I did that, if you remember, is because I'd already drilled and tapped these holes, so I didn't want to match drill through there. But when I got this on there, there was just a little bit of extra material. That's why you always want to start in the middle of a sheet like this and work to the edge so you can have all the excess pushed out. Well, when I have it hooked down on both sides, there was a little bit extra right here. Now I've got it all flat. Well, what I had to do was, as I was drilling and clecoing down the side, I ended up with a little extra. Well, I had to go in and slot these holes just slightly. It doesn't take much movement down to get rid of quite a bit of flap on the side. So they're just slightly slotted, less than half a screw width. As you can see, the screw completely covers up. There's no visible slot left. So, but yeah, just having the little bit of extra material there and slotting those screw holes was the only issue I had doing it this way. I had mentioned yesterday match drilling from the inside out. But I mean, with the tank in there, positioning it right, you got a bulkhead in the way. If you've got this in position, so you really can't get in there to match drill it anyway. So the poster board trick worked pretty good. All right, we've got the cover off. We're ready to start putting the nut plates on. The holes I drilled to locate it are 1/8 inch. That way I could use my 1/8 inch clecos. Well, the 632 screw just barely will go through an 1/8 inch hole. So that keeps everything lined up. Run that through there. Put the nut plate on the outside. Just tighten it slightly. Then run it down to where you want it, get it lined up, and now you can drill through with the little drill bit for the rivets. Just hold the one end. Now you've got the holes drilled, take the nut plate off. Now, since you don't want the sheet metal interfering with being able to put the screw into the nut plate, I've been drilling these out from 1/8 inch to 5/32. That looks like it gives it plenty of room. And then I've also been using the 5/32 drill bit to countersink the other two holes slightly for the flush mount rivets. Just be careful not to drill all the way through. Knocked any burrs off the backside with a little Scotch-Brite. Make sure these two holes are still opened up where you countersunk it. Okay, now we're ready to put the nut plate on the back. I'm using my hand riveter, but the little die there, the smallest die I had was bigger than the shank on the rivets, because these are real tiny rivets. It has like a 16th inch hole, or a 16th inch shank on the rivets. So I took a little piece of scrap aluminum, drilled a 16th inch hole there. So that makes for the new die. Then I just go ahead and slide it into the riveter like that. Got too many things in my hands. Put the nut, put the rivet in there. Put the nut plate on the back, push it all together. Do the same with the number 2 rivet. That gives you a nice flush mount rivet. Nut plate is right behind, right in line where it should be. Screw goes in, no problem. So now, just need to do all the rest of it. Okay, 18 nut plates later, finally got them all in there. And I am certainly glad that the whole plane is not held together with screws and nut plates. Because if it was, I'd be building something else. There's nothing hard about putting those nut plates in. They're just kind of tedious and annoying. Now, just got to slap the cover back on, screw it down, make sure everything fits. And it is done. All the screws went in absolutely perfectly. No complaints at all. Nice fit. I'm happy. I do think that I could probably, I guarantee that I could rivet it on faster than I could put the screws in. And I could probably take the rivets out faster than I could take the screws out. But I decided to go with screws, and that's how it is. The screws do look good. Appreciate the help and comments on the last video. Don't know what I'm going to do next. I'll figure something out. Catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.